seems the more we discover, the less we actually know. With each new discovery, it becomes increasingly clear that we may never fully unravel the secrets of the universe. Yet our curiosity remains undeterred. From mysterious green sludge in New York City to ghost hitchhiker, here are 20 mysterious discoveries that defy explanation. Number 20. Mysterious green sludge in New York City. In November 2023, New York City found itself amid a real-life sci-fi scene when bright green sludge began bubbling up from manholes in Manhattan. The mysterious fluorescent liquid spotted near the World Trade Center quickly caught the attention of New Yorkers and social media, sparking confusion, panic, and internet memes. The bizarre event, reminiscent of something out of Ghostbusters or a comic book, led many to wonder if something otherworldly was happening beneath the city streets. Videos of the neon green substance spread quickly online, with some speculating that it was toxic waste or even a bizarre experiment gone wrong. The reality, however, is a bit anticlimactic. The green sludge was identified as a harmless fluorescent dye used by city workers to detect leaks in the sewage system. These dyes are commonly used in low-light conditions to help identify cracks or breaks in underground pipes. For those who never read the news, though, the reason behind this green sludge remains a mystery. Number 19. NASA discovers mysterious object hurtling through space. Just recently, NASA discovered a rogue hyperspeed object that's about 27.36 times the size of our planet, zooming through our galaxy at such a high speed that it might break free of the Milky Way. This celestial object, named Psi J1-1249, was detected at an astonishing speed of 1 million miles per hour. It's hurtling through space so quickly that it might eventually break free from the gravitational pull of the Milky Way. Scientists believe this object could be a brown dwarf, a celestial body too large to be a planet but not massive enough to sustain the nuclear fusion that powers stars like our Sun. If confirmed, this would be the first brown dwarf ever observed moving at such a high velocity, potentially escaping our galaxy's bounds. Now, the mystery around this object lies in its astonishing speed. One leading hypothesis suggests that it was once part of a binary star system when its companion, a white dwarf, exploded in a supernova. The massive energy release could have catapulted Psi J1-1249 into its current trajectory. Another possibility is that it was ejected from a densely packed group of stars known as a globular cluster after a close encounter with a black hole. We're yet to find a conclusion about this mystery to this day. Number 18. 40-ton whale skull. In May this year, beachgoers on Hatteras Island, North Carolina, recently stumbled upon a hauntingly massive discovery, a portion of a 40-ton skull. Initially, no one knew for sure just what the massive skull was. It also didn't help that the authorities immediately sent a warning to the public, advising them about the skull. Upon learning about the skull on the shore, officials from the Cape Hatteras National Seashore have urged visitors to admire it from a distance. The reason is quite simple, actually. It's because it's against the law to take any part of a marine mammal, dead or alive, due to protections under the Marine Mammal Protection Act. The skull will likely be used for research or returned to the environment where it will continue to play a role in the natural ecosystem. The waters off Cape Hatteras are a hotspot for marine activity, where the warm Gulf Stream and cold Labrador Current meet, creating a unique environment that attracts a variety of sea creatures. However, a skull of this size washing up on shore is quite rare. It's believed that the skull belonged to a whale, but the exact species was never discovered. Number 17. Driver finds undecipherable sign on her car window. In 2023, a man from London shared his rather chilling discovery on an online forum. Heading home from a concert in the capital, the man and his friends found an unexplained sign in one of their friends' vehicles. It was wedged in the passenger side window, and it contained a rather ominous message. It seemed to read, Zurich Mantic 21 Gum Boelo. Whatever that means. Well, not everyone is familiar with gibberish. The man claimed that the car wasn't damaged, and the letters didn't seem like they were from a license plate either. Needless to say, the internet gave him funny theories rather than serious ones, like how the note might be a message from aliens or a secret organization recruiting his friend. Unfortunately, the group never did find out what the sign really meant. So, any theories? Number 16. Planet X. For years, scientists have been intrigued by strange gravitational effects on objects in the Kuiper Belt, a vast region of icy bodies and dwarf planets that lies beyond Neptune. Some of these objects exhibit peculiar orbits, as if they were being influenced by the gravity of something much larger, something unseen. This led researchers to propose the existence of a hidden planet in our very own solar system. Now, this hypothetical planet is often referred to as Planet X or Planet 9. This celestial object is believed to be about 1.5 to 3 times the mass of Earth and might orbit the Sun at an astonishing distance of 250 to 500 astronomical units, 250 to 500 times the distance between the Earth and the Sun. To give you some perspective, Neptune, our farthest known planet, is only about 30 astronomical units away from the Sun. Now, researchers believe this planet could have formed closer to the Sun and was later kicked out to the outskirts of the solar system, possibly by gravitational interactions with gas giants like Jupiter. This theory suggests that the planet could have been a primordial part of the early solar system. The search for this planet is ongoing, but somewhere out there it really does exist. Number 15. An English village rising by 2 centimeters every year. In the quaint village of Willand, Devon, something extraordinary is happening beneath the surface, literally. This small village is rising by about 2 centimeters every year, and researchers are baffled as to why. What's strange is that the phenomenon, first spotted through satellite imaging by researchers, is typically associated with regions where old mines exist, but there's no history of mining in Willand. The entire area, including surrounding fields, is slowly being elevated, which means there's something mysterious going on underground. Experts have ruled out the usual suspects, leaving them scratching their heads over this geological activity. Could it be a natural shift deep underground or something more concerning like a massive subterranean leak? The ongoing rise has raised alarms due to its potential impact on nearby infrastructure, including a high-speed rail line and the M5 motorway. Yet despite extensive research, the cause of the ground's slow rise has never been found. Well, that's bad news for real estate around the area. Number 14. Mysterious orange goo. In 2011, an Inupiat community in Kivalina, Alaska, was invaded by a mysterious orange goo. One day, residents found splotches of orange on their streets after heavy rain. This eerie phenomenon left the villagers bewildered and slightly terrified. The orange goo first appeared in rain buckets on rooftops and even in the local harbor, spreading concern throughout the tight-knit community. Initial investigations suggested that the substance might be tiny eggs filled with fatty oils, but scientists were stumped as to the species or origin. The situation grew more perplexing when further analysis by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, revealed that the orange substance wasn't eggs but spores of a rust fungus. This fungus typically infects the foliage of spruce trees and Labrador tea plants, causing the plants to develop a rusty orange appearance. While this helped alleviate some of the villagers' concerns, it didn't put an end to the mystery of how or why the orange goo rained down on the village. Number 13. A mysterious blue room found in Pompeii. In June 2020, archaeologists uncovered a mesmerizing blue room in the Insula 10 area of Region 9, a part of Pompeii that has only recently been excavated. This room had been buried under volcanic ash for nearly 2,000 years after the catastrophic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Now, this room is quite different from other discoveries in the region. This room is valuable because of its color alone. You see, blue was an exceptionally rare and expensive pigment in ancient Rome, often reserved for spaces of great importance. In Pompeii, this pigment, known as Egyptian blue, was a symbol of wealth and status. Unlike today, where we can pop into any store and grab a blue t-shirt, ancient civilizations had to work incredibly hard to produce blue pigments. One of the earliest and most famous blues was Egyptian blue, the first synthetic pigment known to humanity. This pigment, made from a mixture of silica, lime, copper, and alkali, was used as early as 2600 BCE in Egypt and was considered the color of the gods. Blue was often associated with the divine, representing the sky and the heavens, and thus it was frequently used in tombs and temples to honor deities like Ammonius and Ra. Although Roman culture didn't hold blue in the same high regard as the Egyptians, it was still a color of significance. The Romans associated blue with a lower class and mourning, but this all changed with the introduction of Egyptian blue to Roman art and architecture. Suddenly, blue began appearing in frescoes, mosaics, and other forms of decoration, particularly in spaces meant to convey luxury and importance. With that being said, whatever this room was, it most likely once held great importance, possibly as a sacred space or sacrarium where religious rituals were conducted and sacred objects were stored. The room's frescoes are equally captivating, featuring female figures that symbolize the 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Archaeologists also uncovered several artifacts within the room, including amphorae, jugs, and oil lamps. As excavations continue, who knows what other treasures lie buried beneath the ash, waiting to be uncovered and tell their stories after 2 millennia. Number 12. The albino redwood trees that defy explanation. In the expanse of Humboldt Redwoods State Park, California, are some of the most mysterious trees in the world, the albino redwoods. One of the first things we're taught in class is the importance of chlorophyll to plants and trees. This green pigment is vital for plants to create their food. Yet these rare and ghostly trees, known as white redwoods, lack the chlorophyll necessary for photosynthesis. This means they're unable to produce their own food, and they also stand out from other trees because of the white color of their leaves. Unlike their towering redwood relatives, albino redwoods depend entirely on other trees, often their parent trees, for survival. They achieve this through a parasitic relationship, absorbing nutrients from the surrounding root systems. Now, they might sound like antagonists, but they're actually secret heroes. Researchers believe these white redwoods are responsible for removing toxins from the soil, absorbing heavy metals and other harmful substances that might otherwise affect the health of the larger forest. In exchange for absorbing nutrients from nearby plants, they clean the entire forest and keep it healthy. Now that's a fair exchange. Number 11. The mysterious amber room. Now, this isn't exactly a discovery. The amber room is mysterious precisely because it seems to have been lost in history. Originally crafted in Prussia in 1701, the amber room is one of history's most enigmatic treasures. Designed by sculptor Andreas Schluter, it's one of the earliest examples of the use of amber in interior design. It was designed to be an opulent chamber befitting the luxurious interior of the Charlottenburg Palace in Berlin. However, it passed through various owners throughout history until eventually it disappeared. Over the years, it found its way to Russia as a gift to Tsar Peter the Great, where it was installed in the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg, becoming a symbol of imperial luxury and power. However, in 1941, during World War II, the amber room was dismantled by German forces before being shipped to what is now Kaliningrad, where it was displayed for a time. But as the war drew to a close, the room vanished without a trace amid the chaos of bombing raids and the advance of Soviet troops. Since then, the fate of the amber room has been shrouded in mystery. Some believe it was destroyed in the bombings, while others speculate it was hidden away in secret bunkers, lost in a shipwreck, or even smuggled to another country. Despite numerous searches and investigations, the exact whereabouts of the amber room remain unknown. A piece of the puzzle re-emerged in 1997 when a mosaic from the room turned up in Germany, but it didn't bring researchers any closer to discovering the amber room's whereabouts. Number 10. A message carved on stone that's so confusing people offered $2,250 to anyone who deciphered it. If you love codes and ciphers, perhaps you should try your luck in the village of Plougastel-Doulas, nestled in Brittany, France, where a centuries-old mystery compelled officials to reward anyone with a staggering $2,250. You heard that right. The village is offering a reward of €2,000 or around $2,250 to anyone who can decipher a mysterious inscription carved into a large stone near the coast. The stone, discovered several years ago, is only visible at low tide and features an enigmatic text. The inscription, which dates back to 1786 or 1787, contains about 20 lines of text, including unusual symbols and letters like the Scandinavian style O and upside-down characters. Alongside the text are carvings of a sailboat and a sacred heart, adding to the intrigue. Despite numerous attempts, no one has been able to determine what the inscription means, leading the village to launch a global competition in the hopes that someone, somewhere, might have the expertise needed to crack the code. This competition, aptly named the Champollion Mystery at Plougastel-Doulas, after the famous decipher of the Rosetta Stone, has already attracted hundreds of participants. The village is inviting anyone with an interest in history, linguistics, or puzzles to take part. The winner, whose interpretation is deemed most plausible by a panel of experts, will receive the cash prize and the satisfaction of solving a riddle that has endured for over 230 years. Number 9. 2,300-year-old giant wood coffins on stilts. Deep within the limestone caves of northwestern Thailand lies one of the most mysterious remnants of an ancient civilization. Giant wooden coffins perched on stilts dating back over 2,300 years. These coffins, part of what is now known as the log coffin culture, are scattered across more than 40 caves in the Mae Hong Son province. Each coffin, carved meticulously from a single teak tree, stretches up to several feet long and is elevated on wooden stilts. To this day, we have yet to discover the significance behind these elevated burials. Even so, these wood coffins on stilts remain one of the nation's most significant ancient burials. Number 8. Orange that turned purple overnight. Australian food scientists were recently left baffled when a seemingly ordinary orange, sliced open by a Brisbane mother for her 2-year-old son, turned a vivid purple just hours after being cut. The story begins when Nettie McVitie, the mother in question, noticed the drastic color change after leaving the orange slices out overnight. Concerned for her child's health, she sought answers from experts, leading to a thorough investigation by Queensland Health. Now, experts have found the reason. It turns out that the naturally occurring anthocyanin pigments found in the orange reacted with iron particles on the recently sharpened knife used to cut the fruit. Fortunately, this reaction was deemed harmless, posing no health risks to the child or anyone else. So, if you have an orange in your home that suddenly turned purple overnight, don't be so surprised. It's likely that your orange simply had a rather rare chemical reaction. Number 7. The mystery of the holy jar. This is the holy jar, one of the most perplexing pieces ever recovered. This piece was originally found in a storage room of the Museum of Ontario Archaeology. Unfortunately, it was shattered into 180 pieces nearly 1,800 years ago. Researchers underwent the painstaking process of piecing the jar back together, only to find themselves looking at a jar with holes. Now, what purpose would this vessel even have? One suggestion is that it was a glirarium, a special container used by Romans to fatten up edible dormice, a delicacy in ancient Rome. These jars typically had paths for the dormice to move around in and food compartments to keep them fed. However, the lack of such features on this jar has cast doubt on this theory. Another possibility is that the jar could have been used for ventilating stored goods like garlic or onions, which need airflow to prevent rot. Others speculate it might have served as a cage for small animals or even as a kind of ancient lamp, though the hole at the bottom complicates this idea. Despite extensive research and consultation with Roman pottery experts, the exact function of this jar remains a mystery. Number 6. Ghost hitchhiker. Helping a hitchhiker is always a gamble. There's a chance they're a bad person or a ghost. In 2018, an Argentinian man made headlines across South America because of his bizarre experience. Pedro Peroni, a resident of the small town of San Jose de la Esquina in Santa Fe, was driving home one evening when he offered a lift to a young hitchhiker spotted by the roadside. It was dark, and the young boy was far from the village. Peroni deemed that the young boy wouldn't do him any harm. Well, he was right, but the boy did give him a scary experience he would never forget. After picking up the boy, who appeared to be a typical, if somewhat shy, teenager, Peroni continued driving until the hitchhiker asked to be dropped off near a road leading to a local cemetery. As Peroni stopped his truck, he was hit by a strong burning smell. When he turned to let the boy out, the passenger seat was empty. The hitchhiker had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a strange burnt odor and 2 melted footprints seared into the rubber mat of the truck. Shocked and bewildered, Peroni reported the incident to local authorities and even shared his story with the media, showing them the eerie evidence left behind. His tale quickly gained attention, with many questioning whether the hitchhiker was a ghost, a figment of his imagination, or something else entirely. Despite extensive investigations, no one has been able to provide a definitive explanation. Number 5. Carved stone balls. This artifact is one of the most mysterious in the world, known as the Towie ball. This enigmatic artifact from Scotland has perplexed researchers for centuries. Dating back to the Neolithic period around 5,000 years ago, this carved stone ball is one of many similar objects discovered primarily in Scotland. However, a few have been found in Ireland and northern England. Discovered in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, the Towie ball is about the size of a tennis ball and is carved from a type of stone that could have been easily sourced locally. The purpose of these carved stone balls remains a mystery. Some theories suggest they were used as weapons, perhaps as part of a sling due to their size and shape. Others propose they could have been symbolic objects representing power or status, like a scepter. What's more mysterious is that over 500 similar carved stone balls have been found, yet no two are exactly alike. Each ball has a unique pattern or design, which could suggest they were personalized objects, perhaps even holding individual significance to their owners. Despite numerous theories, from tools of measurement to gaming pieces, the true purpose of the Towie ball and its counterparts continues to elude experts, making the Towie ball a centuries-old puzzle. Number 4. Mysterious century-old Swiss watch. In 2008, deep within the confines of a sealed tomb in Shaanxi, China, archaeologists found something that defied explanation. This tomb, untouched for over 400 years, dates back to the Ming Dynasty, when the world was far removed from modern technology. So imagine the shock when archaeologists uncovered a tiny Swiss watch, stopped at 10:06 a.m., inside the ancient burial chamber. The tomb had been undisturbed since the occupant's funeral, leading the researchers to believe they were the first to enter it in centuries. Yet within it was a watch, encrusted in dirt and resembling a ring, bore the word Swiss engraved on its back. This is particularly perplexing because Switzerland, as a modern nation, didn't adopt its current name until 1848, centuries after the tomb was sealed. Watches or timepieces like this didn't exist during the Ming Dynasty either, and the craftsmanship associated with the watch hints at a creation date no earlier than the 19th or 20th century. This led researchers to deem this watch as an out-of-place artifact, or OP art for short. Anywhere else, this watch would have been nothing but an ordinary timepiece. Yet in the tomb, it's an oddity. Was the tomb truly sealed for over 4 centuries? Or did someone tamper with it at some point in history? Could this be evidence of a hoax, a simple mistake, or something far more extraordinary like time travel? To this day, we're yet to learn about the truth. Number 3. Mysterious gelatinous goo. On August 7, 1994, residents in the small town of Oakville, Washington, were going about their day when they saw a strange gelatinous substance falling from the sky, covering a 20-square-meter area. This wasn't rain or hail. This was something entirely different. The blobs were described as small, translucent, and jelly-like. Soon after the mysterious downpour, people began to fall ill, reporting symptoms like difficulty breathing, extreme fatigue, and nausea. Even animals were affected, with some dying shortly after exposure to the substance. Of course, the residents knew that the sickness spreading around town had something to do with the gelatinous blob. Samples of the blob were sent for testing, and while initial results were inconclusive, some analyses revealed something even more puzzling. The blobs contained human white blood cells, but they did not contain any nuclei. This led to theories, from jellyfish remains to an experiment gone wrong, but the truth behind the infamous blob rain in Oakville in 1994 was never revealed. Number 2. Lump of purple once worth more than gold. The lump you're looking at is one of the most precious materials on Earth, at least it used to be. You see, a long time ago, this purple material was worth its weight in gold. This is a chunk of Tyrian purple, a dye so rare and valuable that it was reserved for the elite of Roman society, often associated with emperors and high-ranking officials. Tyrian purple, also known as imperial purple, was derived from the secretions of sea snails of the murex family. The process of creating this dye was labor-intensive and required vast quantities of snails, up to 12,000 to produce just 1 ounce of dye. That's a far cry from how we produce purple dye today. The purple hue was not only a symbol of wealth and power but also of the technical expertise needed to produce it. The dye was often mixed with beeswax to preserve its color and consistency, making it one of the most prized commodities in the ancient world. And so, when this chunk was found in the drains of a Roman bathhouse that dates back to the 3rd century, researchers were delighted. The bathhouse itself is believed to have been used by individuals of considerable importance, possibly even visited by members of the imperial court. Perhaps this dye was originally meant to be used by one of these renowned individuals, but it somehow got misplaced and went down the drain, quite literally. Now it's time for today's topic. In 2019, a drone operator ventured into a prohibited area of the Congo rainforest, and what he captured on camera sent chills down the spine of everyone who saw it. Flying his drone over a remote riverbank, the operator's screen revealed a creature that seemed straight out of legend. Stretched along the sandy shores was an enormous snake, unlike anything recorded in modern times. Its length was staggering, at least 50 feet, with thick, dark scales and a massive head that seemed to belong to a prehistoric era. This sighting reignited memories of a famous incident from the 1950s, when Belgian colonists in the Congo claimed to have encountered a giant serpent while flying over the jungle. The reports, though widely dismissed at the time, described a snake of similar size, leading to speculation about ancient, undiscovered creatures lurking in the depths of the rainforest. Could this drone footage prove the existence of a giant snake species long thought to be myth? The authorities quickly moved in, cordoning off the area and raising more questions than answers. What other secrets does the Congo's vast, uncharted wilderness still hide? For now, the footage serves as chilling evidence that some legends might just be real. Number 1. The never-ending mystery of Stonehenge. We all know about Stonehenge, yet even though it's one of the most renowned archaeological icons in the world, its mystery continues to persist. This ancient structure, standing on Salisbury Plain in Wiltshire, England, is more than just a collection of massive stones. It's a puzzle that's challenged our understanding of the past for centuries, and recent discoveries have only deepened the mystery. For instance, the massive sarsen stones that form the outer ring of Stonehenge, weighing up to 20 tons and standing 23 feet tall, have been traced to the West Woods of Wiltshire, just 15 miles from the site. This discovery was made possible by a unique geochemical analysis using a core sample that had been secretly kept for decades before being returned to researchers. But the most recent revelation concerns the origin of the monument's central stone, the altar stone. This 6-ton monolith, long thought to have come from Wales, is now believed to have originated in northern Scotland, possibly Orkney. This means that Neolithic people somehow transported this massive stone over 500 miles. This meant somehow people at the time transported this stone by sea, as dragging it over land would have been nearly impossible. It seems that the more we learn, the more mysterious Stonehenge gets. Do you know of any other mysterious discoveries? If so, feel free to share them in the comments below. Also, take a look at the other fascinating content appearing on your screen right now. See you in the next video.